Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 159. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? Honestly, I thought this week's chapter was fantastic. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it was great to see a bunch of characters that we haven't seen in a while that I myself kind of hinted / predicted were going to show up eventually in this part of the story where, Denji is trying to be broken out by Asa and Fami. So it was nice to see, pretty much these characters show up again, like Katana Man. That was very cool. And overall, I thought it was great. Very action-packed chapter, as well as a lot of comedic elements. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my Chainsaw Man content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this week's chapter starts off where pretty much where we left off last, in which we see pretty much all the students that are accompanying Asa and Fami. They're all freaking out. It's like, okay, like, I'm getting out of here. Like, he's like, why are you following me though? He's talking to his like buddy with the eye patch, like the president of the Chainsaw Man Club. He's like, I'm out of here, but why are you guys following me though? And the guy with the eye patch, like his second in command or whatever, he's like, I'm trying to get out of here. I'm following you. And then it's like, so he talks to Kobaya's brothers, like, what about you? He's like, I'm just trying to find the exit, bro. So they're all freaking out. And then I like how the Gilly, the bird's like all stupid. Like, he's just like, Papa. Like, it's so dumb. But as that's happening, we eventually see that Kobaya's brother stumbles up on an exit. It's like, or like a door. And he's like, is this an exit? And as he starts walking close to it, he sees it's a glass door, apparently. And this glass door contains all of the Chainsaw Man, like, people of the church that transform into, like, Chainsaw Man monstrosities. And Kobaya's brother starts freaking out because one of them is like looking at him through the glass window, and they all look like freaks. They all look crazy. The chainsaw's poking out, and they look all out of it or whatever. And Kobaya's brother, like I said, he's freaking out. It was great. And while all that is happening, we also see the figure of the public safety guy that with the eye patch that he's supposed to take care of, like Denji and all that. And he's there, and he's just pops up out of nowhere, I guess. And Kobaya's brother is like all scared. He's in the floor. And then this guy just proceeds to go in this long monologue where he's like, all these people were just normal until a couple of days ago. Like, and he's like saying like, there's a lot of theories of how people get turned into these like Chainsaw Men have monster things. One of the theories is that maybe they were just monsters in general. Maybe because if you like Chainsaw Men to a certain amount, then you'll transform into one of these freaks. And he's like, I don't know, like, there's no real conclusion, like, for him. He's just speculating. He's like, oh, why this happened, but my wife turned into it, but, like, why did she do, like, I never did anything evil, and yet the old guy, the annoying old guy that lives next to, like, us, he didn't transform. So, like, what is it? Like, why is it that everything that's evil has happened to me? I haven't done nothing wrong in my life. I lived a pure life of no evil. And he's talking about, like, he himself has never done anything, like, malicious or anything. He's Mr. Goody Two-Shoes over here, apparently. And then even Asa's like, wait, like, you never done anything evil, like, ever? Like, for real? And then this guy's like, yeah, but I guess if I had to, like, nitpick, I mean, I did have that affair with that office lady for, like, but it was only 6 months. Like, that's nothing, guys. That was hilarious. I was like, this guy is just the douchiest scumbag ever. He's just like, I didn't do anything wrong, bro. It's just cheating. That don't count, bro. 6 months don't count, bro. If it's under a year, it don't count as cheating. Apparently to this guy. But continuing, we see that pretty much even like Asa transforms to Yoru. Yoru takes over, whatever. And she's like, you piece of crap. And at first I thought, like, okay, like she's saying that because he's just like a womanizer, like a douche. But apparently she's like, this is like, you piece of crap. You were like stalling us. You were just buying time. And and the next thing you see is that like Yoru kicks like Fami out of the way, and out of the way it looks like somebody was thrown at her. And while they dodge, another a big explosion happens, and that explosion is because Katana Man shows up and he like tries to cut them down. And it was great. It was cool. I was like, oh wow. Now I had seen, like, I myself speculated like maybe Katana Man will show up, like some of the hybrids will show up to help out, detain Asa and Fami. If it was Quan Chi, that would have been it. Asa and Fami would have been like one-shotted. Like, so I think it makes sense that it's Katana Man, in the sense that you know, if you're gonna make it realistic, like they'll be able to escape somewhat, or they're gonna be able to defeat them. I think Katana Man's that good power level where it's like, okay, I can see it happening, where Katana Man gets defeated by these two. He's also accompanied by the Nails Fiend, I believe. And yeah, she's just there. And while that's happening, you see that, you know, as Awesome Family dodged the attack, she tries to summon like Gilly back, but Gilly's not responding. And it could be that either Gilly's power has run out, or that Gilly like is too scared to show up, or whatever the case is, because we see that Family calls like Gilly useless, like you piece of junk, like you suck. And you see that pretty much Family's gonna be attacked by the Nails Fiend, and it looks like she's like, there's nothing she can do about it, at least from the looks of it, because she's wide open, she's about to hit her. And Asa steps in to like, he gives her a missile drop kick. Any wrestling fans get that reference. It's just a running drop kick in the air. And we see that, you know, she pushes Fami out of the way enough to, like, you know, she's safe from the Nail Fiend just killing her. It's funny, the panel's funny where she just gets kicked. But anyway, you see that the Nail Fiend is like, wow, like, you should be more careful. Don't you know, like, you can just like push them? Like, you should just push her. You don't have to be this rough with her. And then I like how the chapter ends, where we see pretty much Yoru, you know, responding back to the Nail Fiend is like, you realize it's pretty hard, you know, doing it with one arm, right, Einstein? Like, she says something along those lines, like, you know, it's hard to push someone with one arm, right? Like, I had to do what I had to do. And pretty much the chapter ends where we see Yoru staring down both Katana Man and the Nail Fiend. And from the looks of it, you see Fami like bleeding out, like she's you know, she's knocked out. She's still conscious, but she's like bloody and whatnot. So it makes me think like, okay, this is gonna be a rough fight for them. Now we do know that Yoru's pretty powerful at the moment, so I would like to see just how powerful she is, and I think this is a perfect matchup for that. Because if it was somebody like I said, Quan Chi shows up, then now they're screwed. Like, I don't see any possible way that they could defeat somebody as in Quan Chi's caliber. You know what I mean? But somebody like Katana Man, because I think Katana Man's that middle ground of hybrids. Like, he's not within the top three like Denji, Quan Chi, or Reese, but he's still pretty formidable. I think he's pretty strong, all things considered. You know, I think this is a nice pair up for them to fight and, you know, deal with. But I'm wondering now, like, what is Femi have any more tricks up her sleeve? Like, what does she really have? Because she was like disposed of pretty quickly. And she does say that she can only spawn these weaker devils and why not. The real question is, was she online all along? Is she buying time to summon her trump card? Or was Gilly her trump card? I'm only assuming, because now I'm thinking about it, I don't see the Nail Fiend being too much of a problem, but Katana Man definitely will be. At least for sure, it will be the hardest fought matchup that Yoru and Asa have ever dealt with. So I'm very curious to see what that goes, how that plays out. But yeah, a lot of big developments in this week's chapter. It was a lot of fun seeing, like, pretty much, you know, Katana Man show back up. Eye patch guy disappears. So I'm wondering now, like, you also got to think about him in the background. Like, okay, what is he buying his time? He's waiting for the right moment to strike, or is he just a fraud? Was he all just like talk? Like, I'm just here to talk no jutsu no jutsu you guys to being distracted so I can get a good opening for Nail and Katana Man to show up. So I'm wondering now, because so far the public safety has been kind of, you know, they've been kind of slacking. All right, when it comes to the humans, like the non-hybrids, like they haven't really put up a good fight. I mean, Fumiko, or should I say Fraudmiko, you know, like, she hasn't done anything. Yoshida's strong, but like, I don't think he's definitely not stepping up to Yoru and Fami. So I'm very curious to see how this fight plays out in the next couple of chapters. And good news is that next week we don't have a break, so another chapter next week. So I'm very excited for that. Very happy to see Fujimoto back on the grind. And, you know, as long as he's not overworking himself, as long as he's making it so he's not overworking himself or stressing himself too much, I'm just happy that we're getting chapters more consistently. But with all that out of the way, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.